4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, guys and girls, and welcome to episode 34 of the VR Inside podcast. This is a weekly VR, AR, and MR talk show that is live streamed every Saturday on Nathy's YouTube channel. You can tune into the show live at 4 p.m. in Europe, 3 p.m. in the UK, and 9 a.m. in central US. If you missed the live stream, you can catch up with the whole show as I re-upload it every Sunday on my own YouTube channel, Virtual Reality Oasis. Or you can check out the audio-only version, which is available on Google Play Music, iTunes, and on SoundCloud. If you enjoyed the audio version, please leave us a review on iTunes or on SoundCloud, because that would really help us out. Also, I'd be intrigued to know this episode if the audio levels are a little bit better. A couple of you guys and girls complained last time that Zim was a little bit too loud. Sorry, Zim, but hopefully this time we've leveled it out a bit, but we'd love to know your thoughts in the chat.
Yeah, Zim, stop screaming.
Exactly. If you've got any other comments, questions, or feedback during the show, please chuck them in the chat. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can. So let me introduce you to the team if you're new to the show. First up, this guy has been suiting up this week, and not in any old suit. No. He's been testing out the up-and-coming Tesla suit, of course. It is Nathy. How you doing?
Well, that's right. I tried the suit from Ready Player One. It was like the same sensation, but I will talk more about that in the next episode of the podcast. But I got some footage, some secret footage no one has seen before, so it's going to be very exciting. Stay tuned.
Yeah, nice. A little tease for next week's episode, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. Next up, we're pleased to report that this guy has survived a recent zombie outbreak and is back with us safe and sound on the show. It is, of course, Rowdy. How you doing, dude? You all right?
I'm all right. I'm a little bit hurt on my arms, but you know, that's from all the zombie killing, I guess. All the zombie killing.
No other game that you've been playing?
No, I've not been playing any other game. Of course not. Only killing zombies. But anyway, yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right.
You came out okay? You survived? I'm pleased.
I died multiple times, but then I broke the game. I made it crash, and then I beat the game because I found a bug. So yeah, I did pretty fine.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh, one big tip: if you want to survive a zombie apocalypse, buy a trampoline.
Genius. There you have it. Hacker Rowdy. Secrets confirmed. So next up, this guy is absolutely killing it on Twitch right now. He is our resident VR Twitch streamer, Zimtok5. How you doing, man? You all right?
I think I mortally wounded a few people. I'm scared to say anything now because I'm going to be too loud. Just kidding. Yeah, good. I've been having a fun week. It's been a twitchy week. My wife actually started doing some streaming, so that's been fun. She's doing baking stuff. It's always,
she made a pizza, right?
What's that?
You made a pizza on stream, right?
Yeah, she makes everything from scratch. She's doing something else tonight. I don't know, something sweet. Anyway, I eat the stuff. That's all that matters.
Like you're like the Paul Hollywood of the relationship, right? You just get to sample all the food and give you a critique.
It's the best role. It is the best role.
Yeah. And last but by no means least, myself, Mike, the host of the show from Virtual Reality Oasis. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Pimax being delayed. Will this headset be worth the wait? Well, we'll find out. The Apple T288, a 16K AR and VR headset from Apple. What is Tim Cook cooking up? We'll find out. The TP Cast hands-on, my hands-on impression with wireless VR. Is it worth it? Well, you'll soon find out as well. But let's first find out what everyone's been up to this week, in their busy week, in virtual reality. And let's start it off with Zimtok5. What have you been up to this week, dude?
I'm the winner! This is my favorite part. That's my favorite part of every show, because it's like, who's it going to be? Who's it going to pick on? It's kind of like show and tell, isn't it? You know, it's like going back to show and tell. So what did I do this week? And we usually pick one thing. So I'll mention the things I did, and I'll pick on the one. So had our kind of multiplayer Assetto thing on the Sunday, so that was fun. Played a little bit more in Exorcist Legion VR, which actually is a much better horror title than I would have thought, especially with a branded horror experience. You think this is going to be rubbish, but I've done 2 of the 5 chapters, and both of them made me shriek to some extent. They're actually quite good. Even if they're limited to a room, they do things that really do. They kind of do the jump scare, but they also do tension very well, which some horror titles do well. So if you're itching for horror, and a lot of people I know tap out when you talk about horror in VR, I actually think that Exorcist Legion VR is quite good. The game I want to talk about, which I didn't know about, is a PSVR game. Called it's a Final Fantasy 15 VR game. Called Monster of the Deep. It is a fishing game. You got it, Rowdy. You win the prize. So it's a fishing game, but the thing is, this is how it goes, right? It's not just like a boring fishing game. First off, the character creator, I'm not joking, is on par with Skyrim's character creator. You go down to every little fine detail of your character, you make your character. Then you're in the game, and you fish. You fish for main, like bass and stuff like that, like VR Pro Fishing, which I quite like. But the kicker is that the bosses are demon fish. So you have to hunt for these demon fish and then kill them kind of in Dick Wilde fashion with like a crossbow, shooting explosive rounds down their gullet and stuff. I even had my wife in it, and she was in the seat screaming with like sharks like viciously jumping at your face. So this game, it's quite visually decent, and it's very kind of J-pop in that all the characters are super kind of Final Fantasy characters, but looks lovely. I didn't know it even existed, and I'm really happy to have another fishing game.
So you can even die in this fishing game.
Yeah, she actually managed to die. At that stage, I tapped out, and I was like, I'm done.
I remember seeing the trailer of this game, I think at E3 last year, where they announced this. Like I was like getting, because I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. I've played like pretty much all of the titles except for the latest ones. And I remember seeing that one. I was like, oh, they're making a Final Fantasy game. And then it turned out to be a fishing game. I was a little bit like, meh. And I remember that I uploaded an article about it that they weren't all too positive about it either. Yeah. And then it kind of like went under the radar, and like I didn't even know it was out already.
So first they were showing off like a different like video of that where they were shooting like some kind of monster with guns, and then they turned it into a fishing game. And because of that change, people were like, what are you doing? But
it's actually really,
it sounds exciting if you tell
it's actually
us about
did you play did you play Pro Fishing? The kind of game it's available on Rift.
No, but that's exactly like I don't like fishing games that much, to be honest. I'm not very interested in fishing in the first place in VR, you know. But having this is like spicing it up and making it like more, maybe less casual, less calm.
The only disadvantage though is that like Pro Fishing, the thing that I found was really good about that, like I used to hang out with a few people, Greg and Chris, just a few different other kind of VR content creators, and we'd just go out on a boat, and you'd just have like that lad chat. You'd have your beer on the Friday night, you'd be out fishing, and the coolest part about that is when you caught your fish, you could literally fill your boat up with fish. Like you'd be chucking them down, the physics were all screwed up, but looking down on a boat full of fish is really nice. This isn't like that. This is more like arcadey fish. Yeah.
So who's this going to appeal to? Is it going to appeal to like people that enjoy fishing or people that enjoy Final Fantasy?
Definitely
I think it's
fishing.
arcade more.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
It's like an arcade, like Dick Wilde, that kind of stuff. Right. I think it fits right along that one.
Yeah.
And how much is this one, Zim?
It was only 10.
Do you know roughly?
Yeah, it was only $10.99 in pounds. So I'd say $12, $13.
$15.
Yeah.
It's just funny that it's like out for over a year, I guess.
No. You know what? You know why we didn't know about it? Because it landed in late December. It was like 22nd of December. It landed on the PSVR store.
I've never heard anything about the launch at all.
Yeah,
like,
me neither.
I know it exists, but I okay.
So there you go, one that swam under the radar. So next up,
Nathan, you've been cooking on that one.
What have you been up to this week?
Well, I haven't been doing that much. So yeah, I went to like Germany, Hamburg, to try out the Tesla suit. I also met our one of our guests from the podcast a long time ago, Mark Barnes from Elevator to the Moon.
He's cool.
They were working on some new creative stuff, but they are like maybe going to announce something at Gamescom. We'll see. But that sounds pretty awesome. Maybe like a DLC for Elevator to the Moon, but it was funny. He was playing his own game because he did the voices, right? So if you played Elevator to the Moon, you know that there's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of voice in there. It's like the president or something.
President Rockmeyer.
And the developer who made the game is doing the voiceovers. So he was there and he was playing his own game. and you could hear him talk in the game, but then he was doing the same voices again because it was so weird to just like see him play the game. And it was like, yeah, no, like that. I was like, what? Does not compute. And yeah, so I also tried the Tesla suit because that's why I came to Hamburg for the like in the first place. But I will talk more about that. I know you guys are very curious. But yeah, stay tuned.
Cool.
Yeah, I haven't really played that much this week. I did some more American Dream because people are still interested in seeing that. Game gets more and more broken the longer you play it. This took me like ages to record because it's broken, very broken. So seriously, like that's the funny part. Like in my review, I said like don't buy it, but I'm still playing it. It's just because people want to see a bad game on the channel for some reason. I mean, the dialogue is just the entertaining part of this game in a way, I guess. If you watch it, not if you play it. If you want to play something, if you, and then yeah, that's about it. To be honest, yeah, I played that multiplayer game with you, Mike. But maybe you can talk about that yourself and.
Yeah, I will mention Gambate. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit. But let's fire it over to Rowdy. See what you've been up to this week, dude. First.
Yeah, I have actually not played many new titles. I've played once again. I've talked about that the last time as well. This time I tried like a different kind of build, which was kind of neat because it feels like I'm improving in the game, which is always good. And then I played Band Squad. That was the zombie game you mentioned in the beginning. It's a fun little title, you know, like just to like I think it only contains like one level, and you need to like survive as long as possible. Fun title. And then I've played another game which cost me a lot of energy, which I'm not allowed to talk about, I guess. Although everyone already knows what we're talking about since everyone is playing it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I played. I'm not gonna go any more into detail than that now. Cool. So cool. Yeah.
Okay, like so this week, Nathie touched on it. Me and Nathie hooked up and played a game together. We played Ganbate, not hooked up in that way, as him. Don't get too excited or jealous in either way. But yeah, we basically.
Whoa, Mike. We already had a hotel night together, so yeah, I'm good.
That's true. He trumps you in that.
Cheating on him.
Sorry, Nate. But we ate a lot of sushi together as cats in space. It was kind of like a throwaway title, but it was a lot of fun. Basically, the premise of the game
is fish.
is to eat as much fish as you possibly can, more so than the other player. And basically, each plate has different colors, and they each represent different points. And then you kind of have to build up combos by eating those colored plates or the specific types of fish. And it was kind of fun, but you know, it's one of those throwaway arcade fun titles. But aside from that, the main one that I really want to talk about is called Rolling Line. We've mentioned it previously on the show before, and it's basically like a model train set simulator.
Wow, yeah.
So you can either start from scratch and build your own train set completely the way you want it, or you can just jump in and sort of explore and toy around with the world that the developers have already created for you. They've created some really cool environments, like one with a harbor, a little industrial area, sort of bridges, tunnels, all sorts of really neat stuff that you can just play around with. You kind of like navigate around the environment a bit like in Brass Tactics by sort of grabbing and just pulling yourself around, which is a cool mechanic. So it's really easy to sort of move around the environment. But the cool thing is you can build your sort of track and sort of put things where you want it. And then you can go into first person, dive down as a little miniature person, and just ride the train and control it yourself.
Wow.
So you could spend days or like weeks like building a huge set, like with scenery and tunnels and all sorts of cool stuff, and then go, right, now it's time to finally ride it. And then you can just jump in and be the conductor of the train and ride through the environment yourself.
You can also control it.
So you can control the speed, and you can control the tracks where they've got points
and
where
you can
go
like
you can do the horn. So that in itself, nice. You're like, yeah, this game's amazing.
Also, funny fact is that the developer who made this train game also made Echo Grotto, that exploring a game I talked about like ages ago on the podcast, where you could just go into a grotto and so he's like the same guy who made that as well. Yeah.
That's interesting.
The thing I tried that game as well, and. The thing I liked about it most was just getting into that little cockpit in the front and just like sitting there and looking out the window. I did miss my dinosaurs. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting dinosaurs in there. Hugely disappointed. But the thing I don't really care about is like all the track building. I don't have the patience for doing that. So I'm hoping that there will be like some kind of community-based kind of thing that you can upload like tracks on there, and I can just download them and then just go sit in there and just look at them, because then I'll definitely try it out more, and I'll probably make a video of it anyway. But
that's true.
It's a cool little title.
It's got so much detail in it. Like even the night and day cycles and weather effects are really good. Like if you actually put the train on at night and you put the lights on in the train and then hop back out again, when you see the train going in the dark, it just looks so cool. The lighting effects from the train look so cool.
Yeah, it looks really nice. It looks really nice. Also the if you do sunset mode, it's so beautiful, because you can see like the hills and that kind of stuff, and like the sun like shines on through. Also like the thunder and the rain effects.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a really relaxing kind of title.
This game needs like a multiplayer where you see like, hey Mike, hey, I'm working today, in VR, and see you about an hour, at lunch.
Yeah, can't miss my schedule. Stop. But yeah, like that's the thing. Like you can also play it in pancake mode, like normal mode, non-VR, and sort of build your environments that way. And then when you're ready, you could then dive into VR and then experience it in virtual reality. So you can have it a non-VR or VR, like whichever way. But it's available on Steam right now for $10.99 in British pounds, $14.99 in US dollars. And I think like you said, Rowdy, some people are going to completely get consumed by this game, spend days and days building sets. But I would really like a feature as well where people can just upload what they've created and then you can go and experience it, because some of these community tracks where people just dedicate their whole spare time to building something really cool and interesting, they're going to be the best.
I don't know if it's actually implemented already now, but if they do it, that will be the main strong point for the game, I think. The sharing ability.
Is there a single player to it? I mean, the game, just by its looks, makes me immediately compare to Conductor, which is a great little indie train conductor puzzle game.
Yeah, so it's just a building simulator, essentially. Yeah,
because Conductor is more like a detective kind of puzzle game, while this is more really like the simulator builder kind of style still.
Exactly, this is more Roller Coaster Tycoon, isn't it? Because you can ride your own.
But like the serious version, like if you just don't have the space in your house to have a train set everywhere, which no one has, then this is the time you can sort of bring it.
I had, like when I was a kid, I had like a Lego train, like a big one, with all kinds of. Yeah, I did. Yeah. So I don't need this VR game. I'm spoiled. Yeah, of course. I had to buy it for my own money. Okay, I had to wait for like a year or two to be able to buy it. So no, Rowdy, not spoiled. Okay.
Okay, let's move on.
I also asked the chat what they were playing, and I haven't seen a lot of VR games in there though, to be honest. I've seen that Fortnite Train Simulator is awesome, so there have been people playing, how's it called now again? Rolling Line.
But people have been playing Fortnite. Get out of the
Fortnite, Pokemon, and Paradise has been playing something really weird. He was a Jedi disposing of pesky box bots. No idea what that is. Echo Grotto, cool as well.
Yeah. Nice. No God of War? Is that already like old school now? Okay.
I don't talk about it anymore. I don't talk about my mistress on the side.
Good.
Yeah. So let's start off with some small news this week. First up is Star Wars HoloChess. If you've ever dreamed of playing HoloChess on the Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca, well, now you can. Well, kind of. You can play it in your living room with your cat or your dog or whatever. It's close enough. You can play Star Wars. The Jedi Challenges application on iOS has recently integrated with ARKit. So now you can play Jedi Challenges for free without the actual Lenovo Mirage headset. And you can just enjoy HoloChess in your living room or wherever you want to play it on the train.
Sorry, Mike, from your iPhone. Available on iOS, did you say?
Yeah, for free right now.
Oh, so brilliant! I love AR games now. I fucking bought into it. So when you said that, I took a second shot. That's awesome.
So this is the thing. Like Jedi Challenges was a Lenovo AR headset and an application for iOS and Android. So you downloaded the application, you put your phone in the headset, and then you could sort of do AR lightsaber battles with like Kylo Ren and Darth Vader. It was kind of cool. It released around the time of the Last Jedi. And so there was a lot of hype around the movie, and that kind of promoted the headset as well. But it was a bit sort of gimmicky, to be honest, and it was quite expensive. It was 189 quid. about sort of 150 US, and it just for a one-off experience, it just seemed a bit too expensive, to be honest. But recently, because obviously I don't know if it sold very well or not, but they recently integrated ARKit into the Apple version. So if you've got iOS, then you can download Jedi Challenges and play the holo chess part of the game for free. Obviously, you still won't be able to do the lightsaber battles and stuff. That's sort of locked to the headset itself. But the holo chess part of it, you will be able to experience, which is kind of cool.
No, that's really
But
good.
it's not chess, though. It's not chess. I mean, it's a circle.
Well, no. I mean, it's kind of like what's the Star Trek equivalent? The one with like the 4D chessboard.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know how it's called, but that is not it either, right?
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, did any one of us try this headset?
No.
That's how successful this thing is, right? Like, not even a single one of the four of us have tried this. Wow.
It's
I didn't
funny.
even know about it.
It's funny because I went
you guys mentioned
to PC World the other day, and they've got like stacks of them.
Just wait for it to be on discount, Mike. Trust me. Promise you, it will be on sale for like 20 quid.
See, if it was 20 quid to 50 quid, I would probably buy one, because it comes with an actual lightsaber, like with a sort of thing on it that gets tracked with the headset.
Sorry. So extra lightsaber or a lightsaber?
A lightsaber, not a full one, just the handle with a little light on the top of it.
The nub.
Yeah,
you can't cut people into two with it yet.
It's a nub, a lightsaber nub.
I haven't tried it, but when I saw people playing around with it and I heard the stories, I was like, this is too expensive for what it is.
Yeah, are they gonna make more stuff for it, or is it only going to be this?
Nope.
Just this one-off thing, and that's why I thought it was way too expensive. Yeah.
We need to look like who recently got fired for coming up with this,
but they are still everywhere in the stores. I see them like on a daily basis. They are still laying around, and they didn't change in price either. Like, they're still pretty expensive.
Yeah, watch for clearance. I'm telling you, anytime the next quarter, that's gonna happen.
Also, the Star Trek chess is just 3D chess. That's how it's called. Yeah, boring name, I know. It's not very futuristic.
Yeah. So there you go. You've got an iPhone, then you can go and check that for free. Yeah. But if you're on Android, I don't believe it is, because obviously Android doesn't have ARKit involved, so you just have to have it with the headset, unfortunately. Sorry.
Android is too hipster for Star Wars, apparently.
Yeah. Hipster confirmed. Sorry, Rowdy.
Yeah, sorry, Rowdy. You can come to my house to try it if you want.
The people with the Apple iPhone watches. Hipsters.
Are you licking your phone?
Moving on.
Make sure he doesn't crack now.
Someone's salty. Salty Rowdy. Right. Let's move on. Talking about the Vive Pro. So we've discussed this plenty on the podcast over the previous episodes. But this week we're talking about the Vive Pro bundle. So if you're interested in picking up a Vive Pro but don't own a Vive already, and you've been holding out for the Vive Pro, you'll be pleased to know that you can now pick up one as a bundle. So if you've sold a kidney recently, or you've inherited a load of money, then you're going to be in the prime situation to pick one up. So you can pick it up for $1,099. So that includes the Vive Pro, base stations and controllers, but get this, they're going to be 1.0 controllers and 1.0 base stations. They're not the new ones, so just be warned about that.
Wait, no. Are you kidding me? I thought they were...
I thought they were the 2.0s.
Yeah.
No.
Mike, what are you doing? Now the excitement dropped for me.
Yeah, sorry guys,
really?
sorry. I did the research today on the Vive website, both the US and the UK site, and they say, this is the Vive Pro bundle, and then you go to the checkout, and it's like, these are base stations 1.0 and controller 1.0.
Yeah, but wait. I was looking on like some shops and stuff, like the Japanese one, because that's where they first saw the bundle popping up. Yeah. And I saw like a picture of like 2.0 base stations.
Same. Yeah. I mean, I saw the same.
So you're seeing that, and then you buy it, but then you need to read the small text, and then
or
Is
exactly.
it Japan only where you can buy like the new base stations?
Maybe it is just Japan only, because the new base stations and the new controllers don't feature on the Vive website for the US and the UK yet. So like I say, it's $1,099 or £1,048 in the UK.
That's not the same bundle. Yeah, that's a different bundle, Mike. So that means that's the reduced priced Vive Pro package. But there is alternatively what they announced a week ago was, I think it was $399 for including the 2.0 trackers.
The new ones.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't see that when I did the research. But if that's the case, then
I think there's two bundles. That's confusing.
Road to VR made an article about it. Vive Pro bundle with 2.0 base station and controllers now available for $1,400.
So there you go. Yeah, so you're right. So that must be the case. So if you want the Vive Pro with the old kit, the 1.0 stations and the 1.0 controllers, that's $1,099 US dollars, £1,048. If you want it with the Vive Pro with the new 2.0 controllers and 2.0 stations, then like Rowdy just said, that's $1,400 and probably be around about £1,300 to £1,400.
In the chat, they're asking what the difference is between 1.0 and 2.0.
Volume.
So the 2.0, the tracking volume is greater. So now you can have a much larger play space than before. In terms of the actual details, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, you essentially can increase your play space.
You no longer get brain cancer from the lasers every night you look at them. Having to pick that out.
I can't believe you haven't even started talking about it.
They say here that Steam VR, the 2.0 base stations, included larger tracking volumes of 10 by 10 meters. So the 2.0 base are incompatible with existing Vives, since they use a different matter of sync time.
I need a bigger house.
It's warehouse scale VR tracking. It's beautiful. But the thing, I have to say this, because we talked about the trackers, and there was a patch that came in, and I was using my Vive for like a year without realizing this small detail. So in case anyone else out there didn't know this, if you leave them powered on, I think it's after you exit Steam that they power down now, whereas in the past you had to switch them on. So I literally had as a stream setup step go turn on my base stations, but you don't have to do that anymore. So
right. Interestingly, I was talking to Stefan from the Live team, and he was talking about the trackers as well. And he was saying that recently the update to the trackers, they've removed the USB port. So now, unfortunately, you can't power them off like a peripheral. So say someone designs a really cool gun, you can't put a tracker on it that powers itself from the gun anymore because they've removed the USB port, the auxiliary USB port to do that. So
sorry, are these the cup trackers that people put on their feet?
Yeah. Apparently so. Yeah. So you used to be able to like integrate them with other devices, but now apparently you can't do that anymore. You can just charge them that way. But that's just something just off the cuff.
Does he know why they did that? No.
No idea. No idea. It seems a strange move, really, because that's kind of the way it was going. Like people making peripherals to be using with the trackers, right? That would make sense, and that they could power off each other. That would, make sense. But
so, point of clarification, then, I think I said the word trackers when I meant base stations.
Oh right, okay.
I didn't mean.
No, sorry. I was looking in my head like a gun with like a base station on top. I was like,
that's what I was thinking when Mike was saying it. I was like,
is this something new?
When you say trackers, I mean the Vive trackers.
That would be awesome.
Base stations everywhere. It looks kind of sci-fi if you wear them on your body, right?
Like a blocky suit.
You're gonna shoot lasers, you know?
take that down the club. Right. So talking about clubs, you can join the poker club now, and that is Poker VR. A great title from Gear VR is coming to Oculus Go and the Oculus Rift. So this is a really cool social game. Like I recently jumped in and checked it out for myself for the first time. And there's tons of people playing this right now. You can sort of go into sort of low stakes tables or high stakes tables. And it's not with any real money. It's just all virtual money. So you can kind of go a bit crazy, go real sort of all out on a blowout session. But also just like chat to people while you're playing poker. And it's actually a really cool environment. It's got a really cool community behind it as well. But yeah, the rumor is that they're bringing it to the Oculus Rift finally, because it's been absent from the Rift and only been a Gear VR title up until now. Obviously, it will be coming out on the Oculus Go as well. But also in VR LA, which is coming up very soon on the 4th to the 5th of May, there's a pro player that's going to be playing Poker VR, right? Zim, you know about this guy?
Yeah, so Phil Hellmuth. And just to confirm here, just in case people are a bit like, well, hang on a second, he said it was only available on... So Poker VR was actually a rebranding of Casino VR, which was originally intended to have Texas Hold'em, then Blackjack, then a whole bunch of other things. So what they did was, after about 2 years live, and actually the top grossing app on the Gear, which is a huge thing, they decided to kind of rebrand, which I think is sensible, because they've kind of decided we're going to stay as a poker game. So Poker VR was their rebrand, and VR LA, they've got Phil Hellmuth, who is a very big, very well-known poker player. If you play poker, you'll definitely know the guy. But he's going to be playing in the game. They actually did something like this for one of their launches about a year ago, where they had in Vegas a table set up with gears or rifts around the table, and then you could play with the players live, and there was a big championship. Actually, we didn't do too bad. I think I got second or third in that tournament against for the Rift, because they were giving a Rift away for free about a year ago, and so somebody won it. But I think I came.
Show me your poker face, Sim. Show me your poker face.
My poker face.
That doesn't look like a poker face to me.
So is this game still in development? Because like if you talk about the fact that you can not really win anything in game, then that's kind of strange. Because in the end, you want to go to a poker game where you can win some serious money, of course.
Well, there is leaderboards, so it's all about leaderboards, and like they have prizes for the top people that hit the top of the leaderboards. So they do prizes for people. Yeah.
But in the end, they do want to have like maybe a casino where you can actually like.
I don't know, because like gambling. I don't know. Do you really want to promote some sort of like gambling site? I don't know. Like
no, but US regulations get in the way. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So they've
especially
stopped.
now with gambling. But I was wondering, because I mean that's usually what you think of. You know,
you want to be with the high rollers and bet some serious cash.
No, I'm not very good at
Vive Pro on red.
Wait. Show me your poker face, Nathy.
Okay.
Yeah, don't go poker. Don't go do poker.
Yeah, don't do that. You look like a cat taking a dump. Yeah.
Oh no! You can't do the mini-me thing. No.
Yeah.
The guy sadly passed away.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. Poker VR is coming to the Oculus Rift really soon. It is a cool game, so if you're interested, that you can check that out. But also, more excitedly, you can obviously check it out on the Oculus Go, and I think that's where it's going to be a real hit.
I was going to say, Mike, for about 6 months, it was my favorite social app. It's amazing. It's very, very good. If you haven't, even if you don't know poker, it's a very friendly community to get into and learn how to play Hold'em.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Nice. So talking about another thing that's coming soon, that is awesome. You need to put this date in your diaries, because Beat Saber is due for release on Steam and Oculus on Tuesday, the 1st of May. Now we can't say
this week.
We can't say any more than that, other than just put it in your diaries. And just trust us to put it in your diaries, because we can't talk about it, unfortunately. It's still under embargo, but it's coming out on the 1st.
But okay, I wanted to say no. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to say one thing here for sure. I'm going to say one thing for sure.
No, don't.
They will never live it down. Beat Saber spells Saber feckin' wrong. They got it wrong. They should have gone cool and gone RE, not ER at the end.
That's I was confused. Can I talk about that? Can I talk about the title of this game? Am I allowed, Mike? Can I do that?
Yeah, go on.
Can you check the
terms and conditions?
But I was also confused about that, because I was tweeting some Beat Saber with like ER, and then people were like Sabre. I was like, am I saying something wrong here, or So, what is the deal with that? I mean,
isn't it UK English and American English?
Yes, that's the difference. So in the US, you would pronounce, or you would spell Saber SABER, whereas the posh way, the UK way, the right way to do it is SABRE. So anyway,
it's
so you need your own name again because you're living on an island. Okay.
Yeah, don't be jelly. All right. But also the other cool thing about Beat Saber is that they've recently how to say it? They've taken the copyright off all the tracks. So if you upload a video playing it, you're not going to get a copyright claim, which is super, super helpful for content creators, I have to say. So thank you to the devs.
There are not many developers that really
And it's not crappy music.
No. And because it's not crappy music, you can actually buy the soundtrack, which is going to be available on the 1st as well. So there you have it.
That's
so no Jumanji soundtracks.
No Jumanji soundtrack.
You can shout Beat Saber as much as you want while you're playing it, though.
Yeah, and I recommend you do that. Definitely.
I like that.
What is it? The new Super Hot? Beat Saber. Beat Saber.
Wow. So also coming out on the 1st of May, which is another reason to put this date in your diary, it's going to be super important as well, is that Facebook are doing their F8 conference. So This is where the Oculus Go is rumored to be released. So this is going to be really interesting as well. So check out Beat Saber, but also have a look out for the live F8 keynote that's going to be on the Tuesday as well, the 1st of May. The keynote is actually running from the 1st to the 2nd, but I would say that if they were going to announce something big like this, it's more likely to happen on the 1st, which is going to be Tuesday. The keynote actually takes place at 10 a.m. in San Jose. Which is going to be 6 p.m. UK time and 7 p.m. in Europe for you guys. So if you're interested.
Related to this topic and the previous one, I really hope that they bring Beat Saber to a mobile platform.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult though with the Go with one controller only.
You could.
You can just use your head.
Definitely.
You can use your head to like slash things.
Even a mobile game where you had to swipe with the actual fingers. Like I've seen a demo of that somewhere.
A little bit like Fruit Ninja.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw a demo of that somewhere, so that would be really cool. But yeah, back to F8. That is being held at the McEnery Convention Center, which is where Oculus Connect 4 was held, and it holds a special place in my heart because that was the first time me and Zim ever met each other in real life.
I thought you were going to say something else. Me and Zim first.
Well, I
always
saw
remember your first times, Rowdy. You just don't forget that.
But I saw them disappearing into the bathroom together, so I don't know what happened afterwards. But then they became best friends. So
and now he's on the show. So whatever he did worked. That's all I'm saying.
Lesson learned, kids.
So there you go. Like, hopefully, fingers crossed. It's going to be a case of like, here's the Oculus Go. We've talked about it before, and you can buy one right now. And they're going to pull an Oprah Winfrey and give everyone in the crowd one for free. Like, look under your seat. You're all going to have one. Everyone's going to have a wild party, and then we're going to be riding the Oculus Go wave.
Yeah. Or are you going? Is anyone going?
Facebook? No. Oculus Connect is interesting, I guess, but
yeah,
we'll see. But what I'm hoping, how it's getting announced, like in a spectacular way with fireworks, and then Palmer Lucky is back, and then he's like dressed up in his Japanese cosplay, and then he's
riding a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
And then he's also telling people that they are not going to call it the Oculus Go anymore. It's going to be the Oculus Lucky.
That's your vision of the future.
That's my dream, yeah.
Right. Let's hope that happens.
I'm super.
As long as you write it down.
I'm super enthused about this, though. I mean, this headset, I think it's the biggest drop this year that we know.
Without doubt in my mind.
I don't think anything else is going to dent in the same way that this is. I don't think Vive's coming with anything. I think Oculus is coming with anything else. And PSVR.
I mean, Pimax still comes out this year. Who knows?
Yeah, but that's not gonna. I mean, like that's not accessible, right? That's just like another.
Also, I think the Focus will also get sold in, but it's for developers only. It's not really a consumer thing yet. So yeah, you're right. There is not that much going on yet. Yeah. We don't know. Maybe there's something secret.
Well, we are going to talk about news, but that's again not for this year. So I'm really thinking because like when they announced the two things at Oculus Connect 4, like the price drop in the Rift makes that more accessible, and then they announced a $200 headset, and the fact that we've heard very positive reports about the lenses, about the Fresnel, not Fresnel, sorry, what's the word I'm thinking? Foveated rendering that's fixed, so you actually get great performance out of. If you haven't looked this up, look up the technical way that they're making games run very well on the go. It is brilliant. It gets me super excited about this and future headsets using the same technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely a step forward. It's just kind of merging like mobile and the high end kind of gameplay.
Because the resolution of the Go is actually higher than the Rift. That's pretty incredible.
Also, John Westra says that there is also like a Pico coming out. Pico. I don't know how you pronounce it, but
the Pico, the headset, exactly. But the other thing, Mike, you just said it. The lenses, the thing that I can't wait to get back into. Stepping back away from Fresnel lenses, because Fresnel lenses come with God rays, and going back to like a DK2 equivalent headset, but with the better resolution. Yes, please. It could become my favorite headset. I don't know.
Fresnel lenses have their advantages and disadvantages, I guess. I mean, there's a good reason why they chose to go with Fresnel, and I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I still prefer like the PlayStation VR out of all of them. I still prefer that one, but it has a very, very small sweet spot. And the moment that you look away a little bit, then it gets blurry. But as long as you like keep on looking straight, but there's that pupil swim that they describe, I guess. Like you have certain advantages and certain disadvantages, and you need to choose somewhere. And you of course want to, like, you know, make sure that the masses don't get motion sick, or that the masses get a good experience.
Oh, the masses.
And that's why you can mod your headset nowadays.
Yeah, you can. So talking about modding your headset and being modular, the Pimax, let's talk about that, because the Pimax has recently been delayed. But if you're not aware of this headset already, let me give you a bit of a background story. So Pimax are a Chinese company that first launched a VR headset way back in 2016. It was called the Pimax 4K. Kind of didn't really make any impact, and wasn't really well regarded in terms of sort of like a premium headset, and kind of got left by the wayside a little bit. Then in September 2017, Pimax, the company, launched a Kickstarter campaign for the Pimax 8K. So it was a headset that had 4K, two 4K displays in it. So you got the resolution of 3,840 by 2,160 per eye. And to put that into perspective, that's roughly twice the resolution of the Vive Pro. So it's legit in terms of like clarity in terms of display. And also, the main selling point of this headset was the field of view, right? Because the field of view of the Pimax 8K is like 200 degrees. So it's really, really huge field of view. You know, the Vive and the Rift both have a field of view of 110. So you're almost doubling the field of view. And that can make a big difference in terms of immersion and that kind of thing as well. Because we haven't really experienced it so far, you don't really understand how big a game changer that can be. And I haven't tested it personally, but I know that once you've tried something like that, it's going to be very difficult to take a step back then. Because our natural field of view is actually 220 degrees. So it's quite close to our natural sort of field of view, roughly. But these high-end displays are touted to reduce the screen door effect, and text and images in the headset look really clear and sharp. They had sort of stretch goals for modules, you know, because they wanted to make the whole headset modular. So they had like wireless modules, hand tracking, eye tracking, cooling fans, and even like a scent enabling module, so you can actually have smells and stuff. It went a bit crazy. The campaign did super well. Like they got funded like just over $4 million. And
plus they got Series A funding, another 15 million. Huh?
Yeah, so they got a shed ton of money.
A lot of money.
Shed ton of money. And you know, I actually backed it myself. You know, like I backed the bundle version, so it was like $799 for the 8K headset, base stations, and controllers. And initially they said the launch date was going to be January. So they launched it in September, the Kickstarter, and they said, you're going to be shipping these to backers in January this year. Obviously, I don't have my 8K headset right now, and the date was pushed back. And then they said, oh, okay, you'll get the headset, but you're not going to get your controllers and you're not going to get your base stations. And I was like, what the heck? Like, what am I going to do with just an 8K headset? I can't do anything with this. But they were like, don't worry. You know, if you've got a Vive, then you can use Vive base stations and Vive controllers. I was like, well, I don't have one of those either, so I'm kind of screwed either way. But then they said it's going to be pushed back even further. And then this week again, they said it's going to be delayed again. So let's talk about the delay first and why this is all happening. So apparently this is all due to the lenses, because the lenses in the headset are having to be retooled, apparently. The original lens design wasn't quite right, so they had to retool the whole lenses from scratch again. And if you ever see the Pimax 8K headset and you actually look at it, you'll know why. And it's because these lenses are so long and they're a really strange shape as well. And I would imagine that's to accommodate this super wide field of view, right? Because the lenses in like the Rift and the Vive and every other headset pretty much are sort of like a slightly circle sort of shape, or a little bit oval to that sort of shape. But these are kind of more like teardrop sort of shape design. So it must be a really difficult lens to get right. But I'm pleased that they are going to the extra effort of making sure they do get it right. So I appreciate that.
It is worrying though, if they're still at this, you know, they were supposed to be shipping, that still at this point in time, they're messing around with the lenses, which is such a crucial part. I mean, I hope they get it right. I mean, I think it's important that they invest a lot of money and research and R&D in this, but at the same time, it's a little bit worrying to see that they're still so far in, are still messing with such a crucial part of their headset, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because they are sending some headsets out next month in May. They're sending out 10 units, which they're calling M1 prototype units, to select backers for closed beta testing. So these 10 people are going to basically decide whether or not that this is a good enough version to be released to consumers.
So they need their own like consumers to test it for them. Didn't they have like a team to test this in the first place? I wonder.
This is the thing. Like they've got a really sort of active community. You know, they've got like forums where the backers can talk to each other and also talk to the developers directly and give them feedback. And some of the power users from those forums have been selected to be the testers for the prototypes. You know, these are people that have got a lot of experience potentially in VR to give them critical feedback to what they need to change for the consumer release.
But at the same time, it's kind of weird that they're sending it out to their most vocal users then, or the most present users, because if you want someone to be critical of your headset and be like critically evaluating, wouldn't it be smarter to be sending it to someone who's like experienced with all these kind of different optometrics and all that kind of stuff than someone who's backing
maybe they've done that. Maybe they've done that already. Like the internal testing is done. They're happy with it, but they just want the final consumer side.
Since they announced that they haven't been very, very open to give it to someone, you know, they were always like involved with that in a way. Of course, they demoed it at several conventions. They gave it to Tested and some other websites, but they were always closely involved. And of course you should, because they were prototypes. Yeah, I don't know. As Rowdy said, it sounds kind of strange to send it to like 10 people. And I also heard some stuff about if they want to say something about it, then they should do it on their forums, and they sign a very specific embargo regarding that. But that's I don't know. Like I'm not one of those people.
Also, I think the design itself, like the elongated shape, and I saw that Nimso was commenting on that as well. It's a weird design because it sticks out of your head a bit. You have that, and what I already have, and I saw that people like Nimso had that as well. When you're playing a game and you swipe along your head, which you do quite often actually, and I've already hit I find the Vive way too bulky for that, because I occasionally hit it. The Rift is much compacter in that; it's much smaller. But if you stick it out even more, I think I'm gonna
clock it. Yeah, you're going to be clocking it repeatedly, and that kind of an impact can fracture the screen as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never even considered that before.
Yeah, I did consider it when I that's why I find it a weird design. But I saw Nimso commenting on it as well, and you know, it's a weird design choice, and I don't know if it's going to be that practical. But
I think it has to be that way designed though, because to accommodate these like 4K screens, right? Yeah. It looks like a hammerhead shark almost. That's kind of the way I always see it in my mind.
So, Mike, I saw some news this week about them dropping the refresh rate as well, right?
That's right, exactly that. So also in the update, when they sort of announced that they were going to delay it, they said the original refresh rate of 85 hertz was going to be reduced to 80 hertz. Now, to put that into perspective, both the Vive and the Rift use 90 hertz, as part of their product. So as part of the M1 test, they're saying to the people that are testing it, is 80 hertz good enough for a consumer release?
But it's 72 on the go, right? That's another important piece. So it's 72 hertz on the go.
72 hertz on the go. Yeah, absolutely.
But is that the same? Because they often use like a sort of like doubling as well to get to that certain. I mean, I don't know the specifics of this, but refresh rates are something really, really tricky. Like, you know, because you can buy a TV with like a refresh rate of like 250, but they use like some kind of technology that they actually need to display only like 50, but they like double it themselves and they call it like some kind of weird technology that they invented, but it's all the same thing. So refresh rates are something. It is something very crucial, but you can't really trust a manufacturer when they say like, oh, we have this amount of refresh rate.
Yeah,
it's a bit.
And like Zim mentioned, you know, the Oculus Go is touted to use 72 hertz refresh rate, and from everyone we've spoken to, you know, they say that it's a great device, and no one's ever complained about the refresh rate, put it that way. So maybe 80 hertz is just fine. But this is the thing, like, it's like the old sort of like 1080p days, like when we just talk about numbers, when in reality, does it really make a huge difference? That's the key. Because, you know, like we say, like, you know, it's almost twice the resolution of the Vive Pro. And as we all know, having tried the Vive Pro, it's a step forward. Yeah, it's great, but it's not like amazingly different. Do you know what I mean? So this is what I mean. Like, don't get caught up in the numbers too much. Although I'm sort of telling you the numbers, you have to be like hands-on really to see if it really makes a difference or not.
I think the major feat for them is the increase of field of view.
Absolutely.
Because if I could have the Vive, the original Vive resolution and a larger field of view, I think that'd be way nicer than having an enormous big kind of cost attached to the lens.
They just hop like they skip a few steps that are going to get taken in the future, but I don't know, it's like we have been talking about the Pimax a lot on this podcast, and every time it's getting delayed, and it's, well, every time it's like the second time actually, but it's like, when are you going to deliver something? Like I think that's also like the backers are also asking that, like, okay, so now you delayed it again, what does this mean for us,
this is the thing with Kickstarter as well. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've never actually had a Kickstarter arrive on time, ever.
No,
like,
of course not.
Never.
I've
like,
never had a good product either.
No, well, I've had good and bad, to be fair. Like, my wife, though, she recently backed a set of Cocoon headphones, which are ones that you can sleep in, because she likes to listen to music when she's asleep. But they were supposed to arrive like late last year, and they're still not here yet. So it's just kind of one of those things with Kickstarters. You have to be aware that, chances are it's going to be delayed.
Yeah. Let's just hope that if the Pimax arrives, that it just works with almost every game you want to play. I mean, that's the most important part, and it looks nice, of course. But
absolutely.
That is one thing I got, for example, from, I think, an Indiegogo.
Are we allowed to show this on? I just wanted to clear this.
I also found this design quite funny, but it's basically his headphones. That's what they are.
Okay.
Like, and the design looks really nice, and they advertised this on like all of the social media. It was like the new thing, and it was only like €100 or something. Just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like the Bluetooth, like it drops out the entire time. So
you could always use it as the way that me and Zim looked at it and thought it could be used.
I tried it that way as well. That way it works perfectly.
For the audio listeners, it's a very phallic type shape. But there we go. But in some positive news, talking about the Pimax before we move on, is that they did show off their new controller design.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They had a YouTube video up showing the new sort of revised design, because initially they were using the sort of like a Vive wand type design, looked like a complete rip-off of the Vive wands. Then they went with a Knuckles controller design because the Knuckles was all hyper at the time. And
now
it's smart to do that, though.
There was a trend here.
And now they've gone full circle.
I don't mind that they're doing that. I mean, if they see a good design, by all means, copy it. If it's nice, just make it better.
But they went for a touchpad instead of
Yeah, it looks like the touch controllers now.
It's like a mix. Yeah,
it is a real sort of mix. But because this thing is modular, like they've always touted from the beginning, if you don't like these controllers, you can just use the Vive ones, for example.
But that's such a weird strategy, if you're gonna start mixing things from different I mean, even on if you build a PC, you already need to make sure that your parts kind of, I mean, not that much, but you can have problems if you like mix brands together and stuff like that. So I find that such a weird strategy from a company that wants to make the best headset out of the best, that you offer like a modular design. No, aim for that pro-consumer market and only make one product.
See, I actually disagree. Like, I actually really like the modular design because
I like that. I know, I like that. Don't get me wrong, I like it. But for a first generation Pimax design, it makes me do it later. Do it like when you have a backing, when you have like those modules that you can bring those modules out yourself, that you can like reiterate them. But don't be mixing with Vive and Oculus. I don't know what they'll do.
I'd love to have like the Pimax 8K headset if it's good, the touch controllers, and then the Vive tracking stations. That would be my sort of like ice cream mix of VR. But yeah, so there we have it.
I mean, Mike, are you still back in this thing? Do you still have your chips in the game?
Yeah. Like I've already paid my money for it. Like the thing when the backing closes, you pay your money then. So everyone's money's locked in right now.
No, you can back out. The guy behind it, he was being interviewed by Rev Kyle, and he said if anyone wants a refund, you email me, I will get you your refund. And if it was me in that position right now, I'd be bloody backing out, because this looks like a train wreck to me, to be honest.
See, I'm still super intrigued. Like, I almost just want it just so I can check it out myself and have that hands-on impression.
But,
you know.
Wait. So how does this work? Like, when you buy something on like Kickstarter, you agree with certain terms from the one that sells it to you, right? Or are there nothing? Like, how does this work? Let's say if you let's say the Vive, the Pimax comes out, okay, and you don't like it. Did they say anything about like? Because usually you have like 30 days here in Europe at least.
No, but that's not the thing with the Kickstarter. For example, this as well. You agree that they sent you a product, but if the product is not working as intended, then it's not that easy just to get a refund because they still sent you the product.
Consumer rights in the EU are protected. You know.
Yeah, like I have 30 days to think about it. I still want to have it or not.
You're not buying a product on Kickstarter, huh?
No, you're backing a prototype.
You're not buying. You're backing. Yeah. You're basically donating money to get something developed.
Yeah, you don't buy it directly. It's indirect, Nathan. So what's happening is you're backing them, and then they're saying, and here's a reward. That's how we get out of that loop. That's it.
Yeah, that's right. That's very smart. Yeah.
So I could have a very expensive brick coming.
I hope it's good.
There we go.
I still think they can't do that. They can't do that. I mean, it has happened before though on Kickstarter. I'm not to worry you that, but I don't think I don't think that will happen. I think that the Pimax is gonna come.
So to loop back, why did they do the Kickstarter again?
Just because it's a good way of funding a project and also creating a lot of hype and buzz around a product as well.
But they already had the money, right? To
possibly.
So more like to have pre-orders in.
Yeah, essentially pre-orders. That's almost what they're doing. Yeah.
It's like this whole thing. It becomes bigger and bigger, and as Zim said, it can be a train, like an explosion. It can be the most epic thing ever we have ever seen in the VR industry. That's the thing. Like, this whole hype becomes bigger and bigger, and I still, for me, it's also like a 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just launch it already and let's see what happens.
That's right. I'm gonna say
I just hope for the best. Okay, I hope for the best because I'm sure a lot of people spend so much money on this. And they worked also hard for that money and they put it in something that can be very nice and beautiful and can give you the best experience ever. But I don't freaking know. Like, I haven't tried it. I would love to try it. I said it before. Like, we would love to check it out if Pimax is interested and wants us to show it as well, so we have less doubts about this. Then we are open for that. But they seem to like to use their own community now to test it, and that's cool. You know, that's fine. But let's say if the press release is there, feel free to let us know. You know, I would love to check it out. I still haven't tried it, so I can say whatever I want here, but I haven't tried it, so I don't know.
I still this resounds of one thing to me in gaming.
Nobody has, huh?
Duke.
No one.
Nukem forever. All right, I'm just leaving that there. That's what this feels like to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you back something like this, it's 50-50. You're gonna have a big, lovely bar of chocolate turn up on the doorstep, or it's just gonna be a stinking turd.
You just
don't know.
I got even a better one for you. The Alien Colonial Marines one.
Oh man, don't.
That's even a better example.
No, but people need to keep in mind indeed that nobody has tested this device yet, because these things were also being shown on like show floors and everyone was like, oh, it's brilliant and it works so nicely, isn't that? But the thing they ultimately shipped was just not the same exact device.
Yeah.
So as long as we don't have a consumer product ready to be tested, nobody knows how this is going to run.
Yeah.
Like, so far, all the reviews, I mean, the stuff people tried were prototypes, you know? Tested, did a big video on it, was a prototype.
They are quite positive, right? They're quite positive.
Everyone's been pretty positive about it so far when they've actually tested it, definitely.
But it would be so weird if you would make a prototype that is like totally buffed up, and in the end, that's too expensive for what you have to produce. I don't know. It sounds weird.
I hope that won't happen. No.
Yeah. No. So let's move on then. Like, if you didn't think the Pimax 8K had enough pixels for you, well, the rumor has it that Apple are making a 16K headset, and it's being codenamed the T288. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think Zim knows why. Go on then, Zim.
I'll tell you why. Okay, 288 because 2 8K lenses. 8K displays. 288.
What's the T stand for?
I was expecting some kind of like Apple was founded in 1928. If you like did it, I thought it was like something. No, it's just 2 times.
It's not a predecessor to the T1000, despite my earlier claims.
Yeah,
This is
the
not
Apple
a
are actually
wait.
Yeah.
We need to be fair here. So if we don't call the Pimax real 8K, this ain't really 16K, right?
No,
It's 2 times 8K.
Apple have pulled a Pimax.
Apple has pulled the Pimax.
What they've said
They
is
learned from the best.
It's 2 8K displays, so 1 8K per eye. And that then makes it 16K apparently, which it doesn't in real life. But that's exactly what the Pimax have done. They've put 2 4K displays in the headset, and they've called it 8K, but it's not.
Yeah. So this video we are playing, is this like a serious video?
No.
This is a mock-up from a year ago.
So full disclosure as well.
I like it. It looks nice.
This video is actually from a YouTube channel called Gadget Times. He did all the hard work. He rendered these himself. Wow. It's kind of like a funny mock-up. So thanks to Gadget Times for the video. We're playing that.
Mike is just showing you fake news. He's just brainwashing you. fake.
It's not going to look anything like this. Like,
yeah, it looks basically what he's done is he's taken the Apple Watch design and then just like made it into a headset.
Yeah. Well, what you should have done is you should have taken a 3D hat kind of thing and like put like the Apple logo on there. That's more accurate of how bulky this thing is.
I actually think if it's joint AR VR headset, like this thing's got to be closer to a pair of glasses, and that's what I'm expecting Apple to come out with. Because like Apple is going to do something that is sexy. I've been waiting for years for them to hit with something.
Dude.
You know, because like when they hit with their devices, they break the market. You know, they just redefine, and they're going to do the same thing here.
Yeah, they will.
But it's chances they redefine anything because Samsung has taken over that spot, though.
Well, you can think that, but you know.
In your mind, Rowdy.
Well, I mean, no, but a part of Apple, like they have a very dedicated base, you know, that always buys everything they produce, even if it's bad or good or if it's not really a difference, because like always small steps. But I don't know. I'm up for it. You know, like design-wise, I think their stuff is really, really nice. Software-wise as well. But this is something totally different. This is VR/AR, and this is something they never... But, I mean, they still haven't really... They said they were interested in doing something, but it's been years. They're so patient. It's crazy compared to the rest.
That's the thing. Like, Apple are definitely one of those companies that doesn't rush things. Like, they take their time. They release things when they're ready. They don't release half-baked products generally. You know, look what they did with the iPod. Look what they did with the iPhone.
I disagree.
Of course he does. He's an Android fanboy. Let's just kick him out of the room.
I'm sitting between Apple fanboys. Like, what is this?
Whoa. I've never owned it like a Mac or anything. I'm not an Apple fanboy. But when it comes to mobile market, that device I was there in San Francisco when they launched it. Like I queued up for an hour or whatever, got in the building, and I
Which one? The original?
The original iPhone.
Okay, yeah, definitely. That's an awesome device.
So amazing, like that.
But the last 4 generations.
Hey, Rowdy, take it easy. A fanboy recognizes a hater, you know.
I'm not an Android fanboy. I'm just an Apple hater.
So the rumors are about this headset is that they're working on it for a release sometime in 2020. So we're a little while off yet.
Mike, that's beautiful. 2020 vision. Sorry.
Genius. But the rumor is that it's going to be a standalone headset that is linked to a box of some description. So you have like a base station, for example, that you plug into your wall and connect it to your internet, and then that is a wireless link from that to the headset. So a bit like what Magic Leap is doing, where they have a processor attached to the belt, but this is going to be standalone and separate, and it's going to be a wireless link.
How is it going to run 16K?
Well, the thing is, this is the thing, like, it's all speculation right now.
This is what we know. We know that there is a locked room somewhere in China, and there is a room of very sweaty engineers currently getting probably whipped to try and figure that out, Rowdy. So don't you worry, they'll crack it, but it's going to take a couple of years.
The thing is, if you're going to do it, you want to go, like, big, right? Go big or go home. And Apple have got a tendency to do stuff like that. So if they're going to bring something out, they're going to bring out, like, a big come out hitting.
They don't do an increment. They don't do an incremental like launch. They do freaking 30%, 50%, 80% launches, which just redefine the product and the market in the same go. That's why I'm so excited about it.
And the thing is as well, like, even if this is all rumor and none of this is true, the fact that these rumors keep on surfacing and, you know, we keep on seeing patent designs that have been submitted by Apple like years ago, it builds a picture that Apple are definitely doing something behind the scenes. And like you said, Zim, that if anyone can do this and bring VR to the mainstream, like I think we're almost getting there anyway. Like with the Go, I think is a great step forward.
Yeah.
But if anyone can really just overnight bring VR to the mainstream, it's Apple that can do it.
Yeah, so, Rowdy. You hear that, Rowdy?
No. Yeah. so let's put it this way, Rowdy. Samsung had their chance, they lost. So
what do you mean? I don't think they lost. No. But like the Samsung Gear, right? He was the first one to the mobile market. I'm on Rowdy's side for this one. They dominated mobile, and the number of headsets succeeded both DK1, DK2, CV1 for years.
It hasn't made a big enough impact for it to be mainstream just yet. Like I admit that the Gear VR is the biggest mobile headset. I totally agree without doubt. But exactly, I think the Go is going to.
I do think it's nice that all of those Apple fanboys will buy the product regardless of it's good. So I think that is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're okay.
Can I have some popcorn, please? Because I love this.
Right. So there we go.
I do think it's exciting to have like the big boys pushing VR. I mean,
100%.
I don't think it's gonna be garbage. It's maybe not going to be the best thing out there, but it's still gonna be VR. So
exactly, yeah. So talking about wireless VR, I actually this week got my hands on a TPcast. So TPcast are the first company to get a product out to market which supports the Rift and the Vive wirelessly. We have HTC working with Intel now for their sort of Intel WiGig technology for a wireless module for the Vive and the Vive Pro, which is really exciting as well. I really love that people are pushing this wireless technology because having tried it now, I'm kind of convinced that wireless is really great. Before I get into it, full disclosure, I did get the TPcast for free, so just sort of.
So they paid you for your opinion.
Then it's a totally different story. Yeah,
it's not all roses, and good. I have to say. So so buckle up for this one.
Can you also show it, by the way, because I'm sure a lot of people don't really know how it looks like.
Yeah, of course. So I'm going to show it to the camera right now. Yeah. So that's the TPcast module on top of my Oculus Rift.
So how does that look for the listeners out there?
So it's a box the size of a packet of cigarettes on top of your Oculus Rift, and then that has a cable to another box similar sort of size, which clips onto your waist with a battery. So this is kind of the part that clips to your waist, and that is the receiver that receives the HDMI signal to your headset.
Do you know the milliamp hour rating on the? I think it's an Anker battery that ships with it. Is it like 19,000? 19,200?
I'm not sure, but the rumors are that it can last up to 5 hours. I said in my video that you're talking maybe 2.5 to 3 hours, but I never depleted the battery 100%. So I probably played for a good 3 hours, and then you recharge it and then plug it back in again. But this battery actually that comes with it, you can just buy it straight from Amazon or from a shop because it's just an Anker battery. So you could have like a couple in rotation if you're really that bothered. You want to play for longer than 5 or 6 hours, then you could buy another one. But when I got this thing, like even before I opened the thing, there was a few things that I was concerned about. The first thing was the comfort, because this thing, if I show you just the video, this thing actually just sits obviously above the strap, and you've got these little bits here that actually touch your head on the strap. So it's underneath the module. So I was thinking it actually kind of looks a bit uncomfortable. Yeah, no cushioning, right? So I was like, is that going to be comfortable enough?
Is this a thing just for bald men or for all of us?
For everyone.
Sorry.
But, you're not being excluded.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Someone says, Mike actually says that. Like, you have another Mike in the chat.
Hey, Mike.
Did Mike have hair before he tested the TP?
Exactly.
Did you lose it?
Yeah, exactly. So I was worried about the comfort levels. I was also worried about the setup procedure, because if you've seen comes in the box of this thing, you get like a router, you get a transmitter, you get a receiver, there's cables. It looks like a lot of stuff you need to set up. So I was like, is this going to be a nightmare? And then the most important question, I was like, is this going to make a big difference to my virtual reality experience? Like, what is the whole point of this thing, right? So fortunately, in terms of comfort, that's actually fine. Like, you don't feel that on top of your head. The module is so light that once you've got it on your head and you've adjusted it into a position that's comfortable for you, you don't actually worry about it. You don't actually feel it again. So that was the one plus that I got out of it straight away when I tried it, was that it's really, really comfortable to wear. The battery is a little bit cumbersome because it's heavy, because the battery's heavy, but you wear that on a belt around your waist, and it comes with a belt and a pouch to put it in. So
can you compare it to the PSVR block that hangs at your waist? Like, which one is more annoying?
The thing is, the PSVR block is more annoying because it's in an awkward position.
Yep.
But the TPCast one is way heavier. But
it's got a battery. Yeah.
Exactly. So what I tend to do is I push it right into the middle of my back and have it right out in my back when I'm playing games, and that seems to be comfortable enough. And my wife has tried it as well, and she found it really comfortable to wear as well. In terms of
the problem I have with it is I wear this.
You wear headphones. Right, so that's going to be a real problem for you.
What's your audio source, Mike?
So I'm just using the Rift Audio, obviously, from the built-in headphones and mic.
He's one of those.
And that's OG. That's what I'm saying. So talking about the setup procedure, like, I was surprised actually that it only took about 20 minutes, just over 20 minutes. Once I'd got everything out of the box and I'd roughly put it together, like just screwed like the stand on the transmitter and put it on my Rift. Actually, from that point to getting into VR and playing it wirelessly was about just over 20 minutes. So I was really surprised,
short.
actually.
Yeah.
Really short. So, but that said, there are some real big compromises with the TPCast software, and this was the real problem I had. You can
Sorry, Mike, do you mean on board or what you're running on the desktop? I'm not too clear.
Both.
Oh, nice.
So that's the thing. You've got like the firmware that's built into the module that your battery clips into. So this has got like an SD card built into it. The part that the battery clips into has got an SD card built into it. That runs obviously the TPCast firmware on the device.
Sure.
And then you've got the TPCast client that you run on your PC. Now the thing is, like I say, it was very simple to get up and running because it's all pre-configured. So you just plug it all in and it pretty much just works out the box. But I did find that there was frame drop playing games. So I tested it in Space Pirate Trainer and Box VR. And every now and again, I would encounter like a drop frame. And it was noticeable enough, and it occurred frequently enough that I was just like, I'm not happy with this.
How frequently were you seeing it, Mike? Because that's...
maybe like every 30 seconds to a minute. Yeah, so really annoying. So I adjusted the setup a little bit, still couldn't get rid of it. And then also with the standard TPCast software, the microphone isn't supported on the Rift. So say you want to play like a competitive game where you want to talk to your colleagues, like Lone Echo, or Echo Arena, or Pavlov or Onward, well, you can't do that with the TPCast original software. So that was like a deal breaker for me as well, because I actually used the microphone on the Rift to record my videos. So I was like, this just isn't going to work out. But then I did a lot of research into Open TPCast, which is software made by a third party. Now, you have to pay $25 for a license for that, Open TPCast software. You have to open this module up, like with a screwdriver, take out the SD card, reflash it with the Open TPCast firmware, and mess around with the Open TPCast software on your computer as well.
It's proper invasive. Wow.
Really, and it voids your warranty as well with
Jesus.
However, I'm pleased to say that after I messed around with it, and I probably spent maybe 3 hours further messing around with it, it's now flawless. My microphone's working again. I don't get any drop flames, and it is literally as good as having a cable. Like, it is that good. I've been playing a lot of an unreleased game where, let's say that you have to sort of be very precise and with your movements, and I'm doing really well in that with this setup. So I would say that it does work, but there are some other compromises that you're going to have to make. And that is that your field of view in the headset using the original TPCast software or the Open TPCast software is actually reduced. They cut off the edges of the display output.
Oh,
I guess they do it to make it more efficient sending the data between the headset and the PC. So it's very, very slightly cropped. And it's just one of those things, because I use the Rift every day, I noticed it. But after a little while, it just disappeared. I didn't ever think about it again. But it's worth mentioning because it is one of those things you're going to notice potentially. So your
what
field
would
of
you
view
say in percentages, Mike, is the cut?
Like 3%, like either side, something like that. It's so minor. but
still, like, you know, those kind of things, they make me not want to buy it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
It's like not only you need to void your warranty to get it working as intended, but then also, you know, it's cropping the screen because you have to send data more effective. I don't know.
And this is the thing, like, there's so many caveats about recommending this. Like, it's expensive, like it's $300, 300 quid. To get the best experience, you're going to have to open it up, tinker around with it, spend hours testing. But saying that, like, with all that said, like, now it is up and running and it is flawless. There is no way in hell that I would ever go back to having a wired Rift. It's just a game changer. And that's the thing, like, being free to move in your environment, playing a game like Space Pirate Trainer where you have to physically move and duck the incoming fire, and that sense of freedom that you'd have to think about the wires tangling around your feet, and it just works so well now that it's just a great experience, and I think it is next level. Like, it really is. It feels that good.
So for you personally, it's worth the hassle to make it happen.
Yeah, like, let's be honest about it. You know, you're going to have to be a tinkerer, you know, someone that doesn't mind taking stuff apart or spending time troubleshooting stuff to get the best out of the experience. Like, for the casual consumer, like, this is way too much involved to recommend it. But if you're into this, you like to play around with the stuff, you like to test new, you know, experimental technology, then yeah.
So, Mike, like, in terms of Oculus's next push, which is going to be a wireless 60 degrees of freedom headset, that's probably going to be available within a year.
Yep.
You know, for somebody sitting there saying, should I spend the cash, including the price of the Open TP Cast, recommend or not recommend?
So, no. So no, because, like, I'm very on the fence about it, because obviously I'm aware that I got mine for free, so I'm very fortunate, you know, like, and I wouldn't go back. So if I had to spend my own money, would I have done that initially? Probably not. So I'm fortunate in that position. But yeah, there's way too much involved. But I would say that once you get there, it is like Mecca. You know, you've reached, like, the VR Mecca. You know, you're like, this is what it really feels like to be free in VR. It is incredible. It feels really next level.
But the thing is, like, right now you don't have that many options to buy, like, a different one that is easier to set up. Like, I'm waiting for the Intel one. Now we still don't really know what it's going to be all about and if it's going to be great or not. But like, right now, this is the only option you have. Yeah. But I'm sure that later down the road we got more, and I think that Intel is gonna make something great. Who knows? But
absolutely. And I think, like, if TPcast said, okay, this is like 150 quid or 200 quid even at a push, and our software works flawlessly, and you have your microphone straight out the gate,
different story.
Then it would be recommended.
Of course.
But right now in its current state, it's difficult to recommend unless you're really, like, a tinkerer. You know, you're happy to play.
It's so strange. You need to take it apart to make it work better. Well, I'm like, why are they not updating this themselves? Like, are they not improving their product now, or is this just like?
So I did talk to TPcast about it. You know, I gave them some really honest feedback about what I thought about the software, and I told them, you know, like, I'm really sorry, but I voided the warranty and I installed Open TPcast, and I told them it did work way better with the Open TPcast software, and obviously they were disappointed with that because, you know, they wanted me to use their official sort of software, but I said it just either I'm not going to use it or I am, but using this Open TPcast method. That's the ultimatum, basically. So they understood that, but they are working on it, of course, and they're going to be pushing more updates in the future, so maybe they will fix it, but that's not the situation right now.
So final question, Mike, on this subject. Are you worried you're going to fall down your staircase now?
No.
You had a tether before.
Yeah, I had a tether before.
That could save your life, you know, a cable, but now you have nothing.
It could. I have nothing. I could just dive off that thing. Yeah, exactly.
Funny thing is, Paradise Decay says that he tried your last wireless tutorial and his Oculus hasn't worked since, so he doesn't believe you anymore.
That's funny. Yeah, so, like, I did a April Fool's video where I just cut the cable, and that was like a wireless solution, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. A lot of people didn't. But this is the legit version, so you can legitimately do this now. Yeah. But if you're interested to, like, see more in-depth information about the TPcast, like, I did 2 videos on the channel, like one covering the original unboxing and just set up procedure and my thoughts, and then I did a real in-depth guide on how to set up Open TPcast on the TPcast. So if you've got a TPcast and you're not using it because, you know, it wasn't working as described out the box, then there's a guide there on the channel you can check out if you're interested.
Well, that's $10 then for the advertisement.
Wait a minute, you all advertised your channel last week.
No.
They're saying in the chat as well that rooting and/or flashing the firmware on a device will not void your warranty in the EU. They just checked it.
Right. Okay. So I think it's because you have to open it up as well. Like I know that manufacturers don't like that when you're opening up a device that can void the warranty in itself. Because the SD card isn't accessible from the outside, you have to open it up to get to it. That's the problem. So I don't know if that's different in the EU than it is in the UK or whatever in the US. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that there will be like a new TP cast coming that has just all this stuff in there without you fiddling around with it. But...
yeah, they're definitely working on a new version. I know that because the new version has the battery mounted on the headset with a different mounting system. So maybe that will resolve the issues.
This is such a good market for so many people. Like, you know, Intel can make one, maybe Duracell could make one. I mean, there's so many like companies that can have like a race now, like an arms race to make the best one. Because that's the same with like those headphones you tried, you know, those earpieces from GBL.
JBL, yeah.
So I mean that's the same with the batteries. When people start to figure this out and they bring them out, then you can have different brands and and
that's what it needs. It needs more competition in the marketplace, so it drives the price down. But like someone mentioned in one of my videos, actually, it was an interesting point, was that DJI could jump into this arms race because they've been dealing with sending wireless video over like kilometers for like a decade. So
that's something. Yeah.
So there we have it. That is the TP Cast. Wireless VR is finally here, but you have to pay a hefty price and you have to mess around with it. So it's a bit sort of hit and miss whether I recommend it or not. So I'll quickly wrap this one up. If there's any questions, chuck them in now. But just a reminder, this is a weekly VR, AR, and MR talk show, live streamed obviously every Saturday on Nathy's YouTube channel. You can tune into the show live at 4 p.m. in Europe, 3 p.m. in the UK, and 9 a.m. in Central US. If you missed the live stream, you can catch up with the whole show as I re-upload it to my own YouTube channel, Virtual Reality Oasis, or check out the audio-only version, which is available on Google Play Music, iTunes, and on SoundCloud. If you could leave us a review there, we would really appreciate it. It's going to help us out a lot. It's been a really fun episode. Love talking to you guys, as I do every week. And love the fact that we've got people interacting with us in the chat as well. So unless we've got any questions, I will wrap this beautiful show up.
One question for you, Mike. What is just before we end here, what is the best mobile phone provider?
Apple.
All right, and on that note.
Oh my days.
And on that bombshell, we will wrap this one up.
Heavy hitters. Have
a good week. Enjoy the F8 conference. I hope it all brings us the hope and dreams that we all want.
Yeah,
which is
what I was waiting for. What I was like, right? Like
and check out Beat Saber as well. Do that as well. And on that bombshell, we're going to wrap this one up. So see you next week on the show. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later.